panayam, balita at iba pa.
Magandang gabi, minamahal kong mga kabarangay dito po sa Aotearoa, New Zealand. Magandang hapon sa ating inang bayang Pilipinas at magandang araw sa iba't ibang bahagi ng ating mundo. Ako po ang inyong kaibigan Simpo Pawid, ang inyong Direk Rene, ang inyong Kuya Rene, dito po sa ating netkapihan, ang talakayan at chikahan. At very special po tayo ngayon dahil siya po siguro masasabi natin siya yung nanay natin lahat dito mga Pilipino. Dati may tatay tayo, ngayon nanay naman ng ating makakapanayam, mga kachikahan. Kasi siya po ang ating bagong ambassador po dito sa New Zealand. At nalaman ko nga pala, kasama na rin palang Cook Islands, ang Fiji, at iba pang siguro Pacific Islands. So walang iba po kundi ang ating minamahal na bagong Philippine Ambassador, Her Excellency, si Kira Christian Azucena or AMBA KIRA. AMBA, magandang gabi po sa inyo.
Magandang gabi, Direk Rene, at magandang gabi din sa ating mga listeners sa iyong programa this evening. Thank you for the invitation. Very happy to be here.
Yes, ma'am. And I'm also so happy. I met you briefly, no, yung una kayo pumunta dito, yung sa briefing, tapos doon sa airport. Kaya lang busy. So, hindi ko kayo makausap. Pero this is a very good opportunity. Kasi personally, I'd like to know you a bit more, and then plus yung ating mga kababayan din. Ano? So siguro ma'am, umpisahan natin na whereabouts are you sa Pilipinas po?
Okay. I was born and raised in Dumaguete City. Ano po siya, nasa Negros Oriental side. And then doon po ako nag-aral from kindergarten until university, sa Silliman University. I'm sure you've heard of it. And then after that, that's when I joined the Department of Foreign Affairs. Kumuha po ako ng Foreign Service Officers exam. Pumasa naman. So I joined the Foreign Service in 1995, and I have been with the department ever since. So it's been 28 years na po that I have been serving with the Department of Foreign Affairs.
Ano po yung course nyo sa Silliman University, AMBA? Ano po yung kinuha?
Ang natapos ko po, Bachelor of Mass Communication, and ang focus ng MassCom doon sa Silliman University is news writing talaga. So yung print media. So by training, I'm a journalist, reporter. But I did a very brief stint with the Philippine Daily Inquirer. Ang hirap ng trabaho ng journalist kasi you have to beat deadlines on a daily basis, and it's not just beating deadlines itself. You have to produce good quality, relevant, and timely news reports. So mukhang hindi ko kinaya. So mabuti naman, this opportunity at DFA came around, and it's also I found it also a fulfilling career kasi nga government service siya, public service. So kahit maraming difficulties along the way, but in the end, the reassurance that I get is that the things that we do is for the service of the people.
Pero yung course nyo, ma'am, yung MassCom, was it, you applied it also nung nasa DFA na po kayo? I mean,
yeah, definitely. I think the training that I got from my 4 years studying MassCom helped me pass the exam in the first place. Kasi nga yung focus ng MassCom sa Silliman is really hard news writing. So from that training, I think I got the skill on how to articulate ideas and defend them on paper, which is essentially the nature of the Foreign Service Officers exam. 3 days po siya na puro essay. So nagamit ko talaga yung aking 3 araw lang naman. 3 araw.
Ano pala, hindi
Yeah,
pala ano, hindi naman pala gano'n ka-intense. 3 araw
hindi
lang.
ho. Oh, 3 araw lang, madali lang siya.
So, 28 years, ma'am, is that what, am I correct that
28
you
years in the
28
in the
years
service, government
sa
service.
sa government service? Ano, saan-saan na po kayo nakaano, na you were posted in saan-saang lugar na
Yes.
po?
Yeah. Ang nature ng job namin sa Department of Foreign Affairs is divided into two parts, no? One
Mhm,
part is your service at in the home office, as we call it, sa headquarters natin sa Manila, sa DFA. Yung offices namin nasa Pasay along Ross Boulevard.
mhm.
And the second part of our job is really serving overseas in our embassies and foreign service posts, consulates general, etc.
Mhm,
So when I first joined DFA, I spent my first 2.5 years in the administration office of the DFA. But during that time, nagkataon din na the Philippines was host of the APEC. That was in
hmm,
1997. So tumulong din kami doon. And then after serving there, I was deployed. After 2 to 3 years, kasi you are then deployed to
mm,
our foreign service posts abroad. So my
mhm.
first deployment was to our embassy in Rome, Italy. And there I stayed
Wow,
for 6 years. Yun po yung ating
hmm.
standard na tour of duty kung tatawagin,
6
ano,
years. Oh,
6 years.
okay.
So and while there, I was also accredited as a delegate to the Food and Agriculture Organization ng United Nations. So after six
Hmm,
years in Rome, pag-uwi ko, I was assigned at our Office of European Affairs, and I was
mhm,
put as director of the Central Europe Division. So ang hawak kong countries, yung Austria, Germany, Poland, Czech Republic.
hmm, mhm,
So essentially, that was my area of responsibility um, uh, to supervise our
mm,
bilateral relations with these countries. So
mhm,
after 2.5 years, that was in 2006, I was deployed for my second tour of duty, this time in Hong Kong, sa
hmm,
Consulate General natin. There I served as Deputy Consul General. And again, I served there for 6 years until 2012.
mhm,
Pagbalik ko ng Manila, I was assigned as executive director of our office in charge of the United Nations.
mhm,
And I served there until 2012. No? Sorry, 2014. And then 2014, my third deployment was in our Consulate General in New York for the first 2.5 years. And then lumipat nilipat ako sa our Philippine mission to the United Nations, where I stayed
ah,
for another 4.5 years. And that was
mhm,
my last assignment before coming home in 2021. And there, ito na yung most recent stint ko sa home office natin sa Manila, where I
mhm,
served as first Assistant Secretary of our Office of American Affairs. So that meant I was in charge of the nation's, our relations with the countries in the Americas, including the
mhm,
United States, Central America, South
mhm.
America, Latin America. And then after 6 months there, I was moved as Assistant Secretary naman to the United Nations, where I served for a year and a half.
Mhm.
During those 2 years and a half in Manila, I was also concurrent Chief of Staff ng Secretary of Foreign Affairs.
Oh,
So
wow.
yung
Mhm,
dalawang latest secretaries of foreign affairs natin, si
mm,
Secretary Teddy Boy Locsin, tsaka
mhm.
si the current one, si Secretary Enrique Manalo, ako po yung chief of staff nila.
Oh,
And then after serving 2.5 years in Manila, I was deployed as ambassador
mhm.
to New Zealand, where
So
yeah.
so you will be staying, dito, ito sa bagong tour niyo will be another 6, as you were saying, no, every 6 years
Yes.
yung ano.
Yes. So hopefully I will be able to complete my 6 years here.
Oh. Oh, ano ba yun, ma'am? Ini-extend ba or talagang 6 years lang and then you have to be deployed or you go back to home office? Ganun ba yung
Well,
6?
sometimes ini-extend nila depende sa situation. Like in my last posting at our mission to the UN in New York, I had to stay for an additional year kasi yun yung kasagsagan nung
Yung ano,
pandemic. So na-disrupt
oo.
yung rotation ng personnel namin sa DFA. So many
Oo.
of us had to stay at post for
Mm.
6 months to 1 year. So
Mhm.
yes, it can be extended depending on the demands of the
Circumstances.
work. Yeah.
Mm. Kumusta pala yun, ma'am? Yung pandemic na yun. So, 'di ba kasi ang New York, yun yung sentro ng ano, 'di ba?
Yeah.
Nagpadala na US Navy, yung ganun. So,
Yes. So
work from home kayo noon, ma'am, ano?
yeah, it was easily the most challenging time in my career and personally
Mm,
also. Kasi you're right, at one point, New York City was the epicenter of the global
mm,
pandemic. So ito yung,
mm,
at the time na the city was experiencing 800 deaths a day for
mm.
2 months. Nandun ako with my family.
Oh,
And
yeah?
I
Oh.
had to, and at that time, I was acting head of post. I was supposed to be just the deputy, pero at that
Mm,
time, it was in between ambassadors. So I was left holding the fort for
mm.
18 months. Yung 18 months, doon nangyari yung pandemic. So I had
Oo.
to attend to the work, also attend to the welfare of the 33 member office. Our mission there had 33 personnel.
Mhm,
And also, I had to attend as a mother. I had to
mm,
attend to the challenges of the family that the family
mhm,
faced. No,
mhm,
and it didn't help at that time. You know, the pandemic. They considered this pandemic as probably the most important challenge that humanity had faced since the world wars. No, nobody knew what to
hmm,
do. And so
hmm.
that time, the United Nations itself was put in a parang existential dilemma. Is the United Nations still relevant?
Oh, yes,
What can
oo.
the United Nations do in
Mhm,
this defining crisis of humanity's in this century of humanity's existence? So the UN itself had to grapple with that question about its relevance. So that
mhm,
meant that we had to prove something to the world. Na the UN was still needed. So in the face of these difficulties na hindi pwedeng mag-meeting, dapat may
mm,
social distancing, work in the United Nations actually doubled. And so
hmm,
nag-double. We had to work practically around the clock,
mm,
all on Zoom,
mhm,
which
oo.
was itself very difficult, no, kasi
Yes,
especially
challenging.
in diplomacy,
Hmm,
face to face talaga. If we are most effective
hmm,
when we do our work face to face kasi
yes,
is
mhm,
about building trust, 'di ba?
mhm,
So,
mm,
pag ganito lang Zoom, ang
mm,
laki ang nawawala sa aming
mhm,
work. So,
hmm,
yeah, it was challenging in that sense, but in the end, the member states of the United Nations decided that yes, the United Nations is relevant because we have that power in our hands to make it relevant to face the
mhm.
challenge of the time.
Hindi naman kayo na-COVID, ma'am? You did not, get the virus nung time na yun?
Thankfully, hindi naman because we were very careful, but still very scared because
Mhm,
if you recall at that time may shortage ng mga masks
mhm,
sa US, 'di
yes,
ba? Wala,
mm.
tapos yung mga
Yung
antiseptic, mga gloves, wala.
mm,
Wala kang mahanap,
mm.
may shortage, and then we didn't know
Kasi
anything about the virus then. So my family was safe, but
mhm,
we were very painfully aware of the sacrifices that our Filipino kababayans, especially in the medical front lines,
mm,
had to face. Ang dami hong mga Filipino nurses natin in New York City alone na had had to sacrifice their lives
mm.
because
Correct.
sila
Frontline,
yung nasa front line literally
mm,
talaga. So in
mhm,
fact that year, I think it was 2020,
mm.
yung 'di ba meron tayong ating Philippine Independence Day.
Yes, ma'am.
Syempre hindi tayo nag-celebrate, but what
Mhm,
the Philippine mission to the UN did was to use that day to pay homage to these Filipino medical frontline workers who gave their very lives
hmm,
to an expression of their commitment
mhm,
to their calling. So we came up with a
Mhm.
parang special video presentation, which we shared to all of the UN member states, the UN Secretary General, to show that we are using this day to honor our fallen kababayans who died
Mm.
while serving.
Mm. Mhm. So, in all your posting, ma'am, kasama yung family nyo. I mean, they'll stay there also for 6 years.
Yes,
Yung mga anak nyo. Oo. So,
apo,
nag-aaral
apo.
sila and then hindi ho ba mahirap yun sa kanila? I mean, kasi ano na sila, marami na silang kaibigan, tapos ops,
Yeah,
okay, andito naman tayo, parang gano'n.
yeah. Medyo mahirap nga, but on the one hand, we're thankful to the Department of Foreign Affairs
Mm.
by for their recognition that their diplomats can be most effective if they have their family with them.
Yes,
So kasama,
tama,
kasama
oo.
talaga sa package 'yan na kung i-deploy ka abroad,
Mm.
isama mo yung pamilya
Mm.
mo para
Mm.
you can be effective. And you're
Oo
right,
nga.
there are positive sides and negative sides to the deployment. For the children,
Mm.
on the positive side, they're really exposed
Mhm.
to other cultures, and they
Mm.
tend to get a relatively wider outlook of the world and
Mhm.
more open,
Mm.
to other cultures.
Mm.
Pero yun na nga, yung sinabi nyo rin, Direct Rene, na ang downside niyan, wala silang roots minsan. Yun yung nakikita ko sa mga
Ah,
anak ng mga kasamahan kong
oo.
iba
Mm.
na
Mm.
kasi nga palipat-lipat,
Mhm.
hindi hindi sila katulad sa atin na lumaki sa isang lugar lang. So
Mm.
may mga lifelong friends talaga tayo,
Mm.
or meron
Mhm.
tayong ancestral house na
Mhm.
inuuwian. And
Hmm.
nami-miss na as they grow older, they realize this
Yung
na wala
something that
silang
ano,
ganyan. Oo.
mm. Kaya siguro ma'am nababasa ko na, some of the children ng mga yung diplomats, they also go into the foreign service, eh, kasi nasanay na sila, yung parang
Mm,
may nabasa ako
yeah.
I think si AMBA KIRA yata gano'n, eh, parang yung dad niya was an
Yes.
ambassador,
Yeah.
oo.
Ambagari is a prime example of that. He comes from a family of diplomats. Yung
Mm.
kanyang tatay and yung kanyang meron din yata siyang auntie who is also
Mm.
with the foreign service.
Mhm. Ma'am, yung ano, yung, so after ano, yung ano 'to, yung, pandemic, so bumalik na kayo sa Pilipinas and then hindi niyo pa alam kung ano yung next post niyo, until it comes a time na kailan niyo nalaman ma'am na New Zealand na yung sa New Zealand kayo?
Um, Kailan ba ako umuwi? Umuwi ako ng March 2021. Yun yung
Mhm.
kasagsagan ng um, lockdown sa Pilipinas, no. And
Mm.
then the following year, we had the elections, no.
Oh,
We
yes
had
ma'am.
a change of government.
Mm.
So with the change of government, maraming ambassadors na umuwi kasi
Oh, yes.
a number of them were also political ambassadors. So when you're political ambassador, pag
Ah,
tapos nung term nung presidente
oo.
na nag-appoint sa'yo, tapos din ang term mo. So
Oh.
in short, by June 30, 2022,
Mm.
marami ho tayong foreign service post na walang ambassador. No? So that was the first order of the day of the new Secretary of Foreign Affairs na
Mhm.
lagyan ng ambassadors itong mga bansa na ito kasi if you don't,
Mm.
it's an expression of the value that you put in the bilateral relations of a particular country kung may
Mhm.
ambassador ka palagi. So nagkataon lang na medyo maraming bakante. So, and then a number of us also were also due for deployment na.
Ah, yes,
And
oo.
but I did ask if I had a choice, if I could be sent to New Zealand to hear.
Ah, talaga?
Oo.
Oh. Bakit
Kasi
ma'am, bakit? Bakit
um
gusto niyo New Zealand?
well, on the one hand, New Zealand is an important partner of the Philippines kasi part siya ng
Ah,
Indo-Pacific, which is
okay.
our
Mm,
home region.
mhm.
So there's a lot of things going on bilaterally and through ASEAN as well. And also, but also on the other hand, ano rin siya, ang daming, puro maganda ang narinig ko about New Zealand. I've never visited the country before that.
Mhm.
And I've heard so many good things about it. And especially that it's good for family like mine na may medyo young pa yung mga bata.
Mhm. Mhm.
So it was a combination of concerns related to career and to the family also, which
Mhm.
the
Mhm.
department always listens to as far as
Okay.
they
Mhm.
can. So
Mhm.
mabuti naman at na I
Nandito
ended
na
up.
kayo.
Opo.
Bale ma'am, hindi kayo you're a career diplomat, no? Yung iba kasi yung mga political appointee
Mm.
sila, no?
Opo.
Yung
Career
hindi
po tayo.
career talaga, 20 years, 28 years. But you also mentioned offline kanina na hindi lang pala Aotearoa, New Zealand ang inyong ano to, yung inyong area of responsibility to
Yes.
say. Ano pa yung ibang area, ma'am?
Yeah. In addition to being ambassador to New Zealand, I am also
Mhm.
accredited as ambassador to five other countries, and these are
Mhm.
the Cook Islands,
Mhm.
Fiji, Samoa, Tonga, and Niue.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So
Mm.
all of these are Pacific Islands.
Mhm.
And for the longest time, even sa panahon ni AMBA KIRA,
Mm.
kasama talaga sa responsibility ng Philippine Ambassador to New Zealand ang countries na ito. Ang nadagdag lang is Niue. Because
Mm.
we established diplomatic relations with Niue only last year. So ito
Ah.
yung
So kayo
additional
yung
area.
oo. So kayo yung kauna-unahang Filipino diplomat sa New Way,
Yes, a
if
Philippine
ever. Mm.
ambassador to Niue. So
Mm. Mm.
very, very honored to have that
Mm.
new responsibility.
Kasi yung mga 5 countries, ma'am, may mga Filipinos doon kaya that's why ini-extend yung yung services nyo to
Yeah.
those countries.
Yeah, all
Mm.
of them may mga Filipino communities talaga tayo doon. Of course,
Mm.
that's one important element, but also there are other political and economic considerations, no?
Ah, yes.
Given
Oo.
that these countries are in the Pacific, so part siya ng Indo-Pacific.
Mhm.
And we share many similarities in terms of challenges and
Mhm.
opportunities. For example, we're all very vulnerable to the effects of climate change.
Oh,
We are
yes. Oo.
all maritime nations.
Mhm.
Diba? So maraming areas where we can help each other because
Mhm.
in the end, in the final analysis, we also want the Pacific to be an area of relative peace and stability and
Mhm.
prosperity because their well-being also impacts on ours.
Impacts on yes, correct, tama po 'yun. And then, yung mga colleagues ko, yung mga co-teachers ko na from, Fiji and from Samoa, sinasabi nila na marami nga daw na
Mm.
doctors, nurses, dentists 'no, sa mga lugar nila 'no.
Yeah,
At,
yeah.
and you're traveling there, pretty soon already, ma'am, ano?
Yes, yes. Thank you for raising that, Direct Rene. I think I would like to use your platform to spread the word.
Mhm.
Because I will be traveling to the Cook Islands next week because I will present my credentials there as Philippine ambassador. And
Mhm.
also, and then the following week to Fiji naman, also to present myself as my credentials as Philippine ambassador there. And taking advantage of these visits, I would really like. I'm organizing a parang meet and greet with with the
Hmm.
Filipino community there.
Mhm.
So
Mhm.
if I could use this occasion to invite our kababayans in Rarotonga, in Suva, and in Nadi
Nadi,
for a meet and greet. Yung sa Rarotonga po, this will be on Monday evening, that's September 18. And then in Suva on September ano ba yung September? September, Monday.
So 25 ba
25,
yun?
yes.
25.
And then in Nadi naman on September 27. So
Wow.
I'm calling on all our kababayans there who are available on these dates to please come. Just check the embassy Facebook page for the details. I would really like to meet you and get to know you, because how else can we work together if we don't even know each other? So this is the
Yeah,
first step.
oo.
This is the first step that that is important that I do when I'm there.
Gaya nga ng inintro ko kanina, nung si Amba Gari, tatay ang meron tayo. Ngayon, nanay naman tayo meron, si Amba Kira na.
Ay, sa bagay, totoong nanay
Napakabata.
naman ako.
Oh, ilan
Pwede
po
ba
yung
ate?
ate na lang, oh. Ilan po ba yung kids nyo, Amba? Ilan ang kids nyo?
Tatlo lang naman po,
Tatlo.
Director. Tatlo
And
lang.
they're all here, they're all studying,
Yeah.
and they're adjusted to
Yes.
okay, oo.
Yes.
Amba Kira, ano yung sports nyo? I mean, what do you do to unwind? Di ba? Yung parang, ano ba yung, ano ba kayo? Sporty ba kayo? Or
Hindi.
more of hindi?
Hindi ako sporty.
Except yung
Homebody ako,
football.
direct eh.
Except yung football siguro, yung soccer, no? Naging ano kayo noon.
Yeah. Hindi, pero
As a
yung
whole,
football talaga, kasi yung Dumaguete was one of those cities, areas in the Philippines na medyo popular ang football.
oh,
Kasi Siliman when I was in high school in Siliman, meron
mm,
kaming football team sa high
mm,
school, sa Siliman High School na sumali sa Coke Go for Goal. Oo.
okay,
And marami kaming mga classmates na sumama sa team. So kaya kami na got into football. So I brought that with me during the FIFA game. Medyo naintindihan ko naman yung how the game works. So it served me well. Pero hanggang lang ako, spectator.
but you went to Dunedin, Wellington, of course, saka Auckland, di ba? You were
Yes.
very supportive of our team.
Yes.
And
Yes.
anong feeling nyo, ma'am, nung yung sa Wellington, yung na
Oo nga nakakatuwa. Well, first of all, I knew that the community was the Filipino community was ready to support our team, and that there were so many of you, like yourself, Direk Rene, that were organizing these activities to express the support for our team kasi historic nga yung ating pag-participate. So it was clear to me that the role of the embassy there was really just to consolidate all of these efforts
Yes.
para mas malaki yung impact. Diba? If we knew what each other is doing, then we can better coordinate and make sure na mas malakas yung dating. So essentially the role there of the embassy was really just to coordinate all of the ongoing efforts already being done by the community leaders like you. And it was I would say that we were successful in that because we had a very good showing in all of the 3 games. In Wellington, in Dunedin, starting in Dunedin, doon pa lang nakita na natin yung force ng community kahit konti lang doon. And then pagdating sa Wellington, ayun, dumadami na. And what was of course significant about the game in Wellington was that we won against the home team. And at that game pa naman, nanood mismo si Prime Minister Chris
nandun po
Hipkins, nandun siya. So hindi namin alam ni Senator Pia kung kami ba matutuwa or mahihiya. But we decided na matutuwa kami. Bahala na sila. And then of course the full force of the community was seen at the games in Auckland. No, kahit
in Auckland.
In Auckland.
Oo.
I think practically the whole stadium was ours.
Yes.
Diba? Do you agree?
Yes, ma'am. Kasi yung sinabing 34,000, 30 plus ang Pilipino
exactly.
doon.
So nakakatuwa. And I think what's important is that our team really saw that for themselves, how the Filipinos came out and to support them during the games. And they felt it and they were very thankful for it. So I think that was our greatest achievement there.
Very ano ma'am, very significant yung binanggit nyo kanina as a coordinating body or coordinating role ng embassy. Kasi for the longest time, minsan hindi yung mga activities, yung mga events, hindi
Mm.
masyadong ano. So ngayon siguro, ano, I mean, ako nag-a-appeal na rin ako sa para i-coordinate natin
Yeah,
para
yeah.
hindi nag-overlap, tsaka para hindi sabay-sabay, yung mga
Mm,
ganun.
mm.
I think those who are community leaders who are listening should be like cognizant of yung role ng embassy is
Yes,
there
yes,
to be ano to be our parang
yes.
anchor, no. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
maganda yan,
Yes.
maganda.
Especially because ang ating community dito very empowered and very well
Oh,
placed to
mhm,
really do stuff that can make an impact on the ground.
mhm,
So and that's a very good thing. But so the only thing that needs to be done is to make sure that these the impact, the effects of these activities are
mhm,
felt as far and as wide as possible. And I think that's
mhm,
where the embassy can come in. No,
mhm,
we want to support the work of our community organizations and our community
mhm,
leaders. We want to help them realize their vision because in many ways they are the same as ours. We, after all,
mhm,
we have the same goals, diba? To
mhm.
help our kababayans and also to advance the interest of our
Correct,
country here.
correct,
So why
correct.
not work together? So, but sometimes we cannot work together, but the least, because of many reasons, but
Mhm.
the least we can do is to make sure that everybody else knows what the other is
Knows what?
doing,
Yes, that's right.
because we can
Mhm,
exchange good practices there, and
mhm,
sometimes
mhm,
maybe we can even consolidate and join together,
mhm,
'di ba? Our efforts
mhm,
regardless of the distance. So
mhm,
yun ang nakikita kong role ng embassy. Of course, we will be there
mhm,
to continue to deliver consular services and
mhm,
assistance. But we
mhm.
do recognize that because of our size, 12 lang po kami sa embassy. We
Hindi talaga
because
lumalaki yan ano, hanggang
hindi
mula noon
kasi yun lang ang budget na binibigay sa amin.
imagine.
But hopefully we'll be able to fix that. But that's
Mhm,
another conversation. But
mhm,
just to say that because of the resources of the limited resources of the embassy, but also recognizing the capacity of our Filipino leaders and organizations
mhm,
to do a lot of stuff. Really,
mhm,
the way forward is partnership, and that has
mhm,
if you know, that has been my message to our kababayans wherever I would go. The
mhm,
embassy is your partner.
mhm,
We can help you. We can amplify what you're doing. We can support if we can, getting resources from
mhm,
headquarters, but we can
mhm,
also connect you with each other so that we can deliver as one, so to
mhm.
speak. Diba?
Hindi, tsaka kasi kayo yung ano, yung impartial, yung nasa gitna eh. Kasi alam niyo
Mm.
naman, ma'am, di ba? I mean, you've been in other
Mm.
Filipino communities, merong si ganito, ganyan-ganyan. But pag ang embassy nandyan is, you are there to mediate and
Mm.
to ano, yung mga ganon, no?
Mhm.
And you will be attending your first labor weekend, ma'am, ngayong October. Kasi may
Yes,
consular
yes.
services sa Rotorua.
Yes, I'm really looking forward to that. I heard that it's really a big thing.
Yes, ma'am.
And we have been in touch with the organizers for many months now. And of
Mhm,
course, we took advantage of it to also do our a consular
mhm,
outreach mission.
mhm,
But we will be doing additional activities to that as well. Please just wait for the formal announcement. Inaayos lang namin yung mga
mhm,
last minute details.
mhm.
But yes, essentially, it would be my first time to be there. So I'm really looking forward to meeting as many community leaders and organizations as I can.
Ma'am, I'd like to thank you for ano spending some time, very quality time with us, no? I mean, tayong dalawa dito pero ang daming nakikinig, nanonood. This is the time wherein you can yung panawagan niyo po muli sa ating mga kababayan about the partnership, about kung
Mm.
ano yung ano pwedeng gawin. Nasa inyo po.
Yes. Thank you, Direct Rene, and thank you to all of our listeners for tuning in. and for this opportunity for me to share with you what the embassy intends, what the embassy is here for, and what I am here for. Essentially, at this point, I'm still getting to know you, all of you, our community leaders, whom I consider as partners. I have a number of projects in my list that I would like to do with you that would benefit for example, our second generation
Oh,
Filipinos.
yes. Oo. Yes.
Promoting our culture, promoting a better understanding and appreciation of our culture through food and language. Marami ho kaming natatanggap na tanong, where can I learn Filipino? Kasi,
Mm,
'di
mm,
ba, my friends are Filipino, my co-workers are Filipino. I want to learn the language, etc.
mhm.
So,
Correct.
and then also some activities that would help promote the Philippines as a tourism destination through, again, personal contacts, utilizing the presence of our kababayans here in New Zealand, and then of course strengthening our economic and commercial ties with New Zealand, and promoting our food,
Oh,
maybe
yes.
through a Filipino restaurant week wherever
Mm,
they may be. So those are just
mm.
some
Oh,
of the
yes. Very good.
things, no? And then ang doable, a very doable thing na nakikita ko, Direct Rene, is to come up with a pool of a listing of the resources available to kababayans who just arrived in New
Mm,
Zealand. So whether they be workers or
mm,
yung migrants na residents na talaga, or students,
mm.
they should be able to access a list of the Filipino community groups
Yes.
that they can tap if they
Mm,
needed assistance. So
mm,
ang project ko ngayon is to come up with this directory of all Filipino community groups that
mm,
would show the name of the group and the assistance or services that they offer,
mm,
that can be tapped, that can be tapped by newly arrived Filipinos.
mm,
So
mm,
I suppose yun ang aking request ngayon. If you are a Filipino community organization and you would like your organization to be included in this directory of community
mm,
groups, then please just get in touch with the embassy. Of course, we will need your permission to uh, to publish, the name
mm,
of your groups and your telephone numbers and the contact
mm,
person, etc. But
mm.
this is it again. The role here of the embassy is really just putting together all of these existing resources para dun sa mga bagong dating, madali na lang sa kanila. So when they go
Tama.
to the Facebook page of the embassy or
Mm,
the website, and then may
mm,
portion there, are you new to New Zealand? Then
mm.
these are the groups that can help you if you need
Correct.
any help.
That's very good.
So,
Oo.
yun muna yun munang sa ngayon ang
Yung
very
doable.
doable project.
Kasi, ma'am, yung sa eskwelahan kung saan ako nagtuturo. So early this year, alam ko there were like 5 Filipino students, no? Kanina tinanong ko dun sa estudyante kasi nakita ko may mga bago. Sabi ko, Princess, ilan na ba kayo? Sir, 17 na kami. Sabi niya
Oh,
ganun.
wow.
So, and I heard in the other schools also, ganun din, no? Kasi nga, nandito na yung mga family nila. And I think yung sasabi nyo na yung mga bagong o di kaya yung about education. Kasama niyo po kami, AMBA KIRA, na kung ano man yung may tutulong
Yes,
namin.
thank you.
We're very much willing to help. In fact, siguro in another, siguro I will officially communicate with you. Kasi I'm thinking of coming up with parang segment parang sabi ni AMBA. Parang kung may announcement si AMBA, parang gano'n, no? I-record ni AMBA, tapos ibigay natin sa lahat ng mga nasa media na So,
Yes.
thank you po so much, AMBA KIRA. No, thank you so much, and looking forward to see you personally pag nandito na kayo sa Auckland o kung saan tayo magkita na I'm so happy na may natuloy natin ito. And thank you so much. Thank you po.
Thank you for the time po, Direct Rene, and thank you and good evening to everybody.
And I'd like to thank our listeners and viewers for allowing AMBA KIRA and myself to come into your homes, pumasok sa inyong mga tahanan, sa inyong mga puso sa mga panahon nito. Maraming salamat. Thank you. Take care and God bless.